What is going on, guys? Ronnie here from Speed Lab, back here today with another video. This time working on Ron's Evo 9 RS, Ron from Hoonigan. So we've had the pleasure of building him this 2.2 SLR 4G63 motor. So it's paired up with our cylinder head. Nothing really crazy. We do have O-rings on it. That's our 9.5-to-1 compression Gen 2 pistons. Of course, Cali's full counterweight billet crankshaft. This particular motor is using Crillo Pro H-beam conrods with the car bolts, so good for 9,500 plus RPM. And we got a really nice gearbox over here. So this is the X shift gearbox. This is a sequential box, 6-speed. So very excited to calibrate a car on this and see what we can do with this. It's pretty badass. I thought my dog box was badass, but this is just takes the cake. It's a $20,000 box with all the options. What we're gonna do is we're gonna mount up the clutch next. Just finish up some stuff on the motor. It's pretty much done, but not completely done. We just threw the plugs in. Of course, it's timed, so we gotta put the front timing cover and all that stuff bolted up. Put the rear main seal. Put the rear Allen for the oil gallery plug. Since when we machine it, we take it out, so everything can get cleaned up. Aside from the engine stuff, which we gotta of course mount the transmission and all that stuff with the special X shift motor mount that comes with the transmission on the transmission side, of course. We have a slew of radium engineering parts, so that's going to be his full fuel system. We're doing 2 525s. Of course, they're going to be hardwired because you can do that with the radium pumper. We're going to be installing a bunch of Mishimoto parts that Ron already got as well. So that's going to be the radiator, oil cooler, and of course the Haltech system. We got a 2500 going in the car. He's going to have our custom pigtails because he does not have a motorsport grade harness, which most people that are coming to us don't, so we make it for them. We just pin it into the ECU. And as far as the turbo, he is running a G30 900. Now the turbo's sitting over there. I have the waste gates as well, so we're gonna load up the gates with about 14 or 15 pounds of spring. This is gonna be a full flex fuel car, of course, so you can drive this on the street, unpump gas, and then whenever he wants to go all out, he can put E85, or we can even set him up with a trim pod, so he can have different settings for E90 and other grades of ethanol. As far as why the turbo's not in, we're missing this clamp. Ron had one of his buddies from Hoonigan send me a couple clamps, but they're not the right ones, so we got to get that. Aside from that, I will be back in a minute. All right, guys, got everything nicely laid out as far as the fuel system goes. These are the lines. So Radium actually offers a full line kit. They're crimped on PTFE lines. Awesome quality, and for the price point, you just can't beat it. They also give you this filter that goes right underneath the front subframe, essentially next to the subframe. And this is also a holder for the filter and the lines. Don't quote me on that. It's been a minute since I've installed one of these kits. And then this is a line for you to use your feed line if you need to, but we're just gonna run it straight from the tank to the rail, and we're not going to use a -6. So anyway, that's all going to be for later on, and I'll show you guys all that stuff. This is the double pumper. Thankfully it's pre-assembled. It's not really hard to assemble it, but it's already pre-assembled. They don't do this anymore. They just sell it like just without the pumps. I guess it's just easier for Radium to crank these out. All pump out and the pump return to actual -6 and -8 fittings, which will give us more than adequate fuel for the power level that Ron's trying to make. I'm trying to make sure this thing has enough fuel for 900 horsepower, and injector wise and pump wise we're set up for that. So of course, with the lines and everything being -8, it requires less fuel pump force, essentially, if you will, and everything's just essentially like an exhaust, right? You're making it more efficient, so it's pumping in more fuel with less, essentially having to do less work, if that makes sense. Don't get me wrong, we've made a bunch of power on the stock fuel lines, but upgrading the fuel lines is always a good idea because you're upgrading the rest of the fuel system. Anyway, real quickly, Show you guys the BPR kit. It's a BPR kit. We use these all the time over here. And this is a radium. So those work really well because those are plug and play. And Alex actually, the owner of BPR, actually hooks up a DTM connector. So all you got to do is just wire in your relay to your battery, or your relay box to breaker to your battery. Then you just plug it in. So it's a lot simpler than this one, but no complaints about this, because what I can do is I can wire in both relays to the Haltech and have the pumps come on, well, the primary pump whenever the key's on, and the secondary pump to come on at whatever boost level or throttle position, or a combination of both, or you know, whatever I want. I can set the preconditions to come on. And you know, if you wanted to, you can have it like on a canned keypad. I don't know why you would want to have your secondary pump on a canned keypad, but if it was a race car and you wanted to turn on your fuel pumps, you could just do it on a keypad, like one of those yeah, essentially a Haltech canned keypad, but any keypad essentially. But yeah, so we're gonna show you guys how we're gonna wire all that stuff. So I'll show you guys how I modify the OEM connector and wire this, and then I'll show you guys my relay wiring. And then the Haltech portion is going to be in another video. So how we're going to actually control the pumps and trigger them is going to be in another video. But the fuel system stuff you guys will see today. Aside from that, the X shift, I've never installed one of these, so I don't want to sound like a know-it-all when it comes to this. I've never installed a sequential. I don't know where the hell the inside of the mount is. So it might be somewhere in the car. It might be missing. I don't know. This is the extension loom. It plugs into here. This stuff, I mean, this goes to the, you know, the display essentially for the gears, which goes inside the car. And then we got a bunch of different, we got an auxiliary DTM connector, and we got a bunch of different stuff over here that we'll figure out, and we'll show you guys once everything is actually in the car. So for the time being, we're gonna tackle the fuel system. I'm just gonna show you guys, there's still a bunch of boxes, Mishimoto boxes mostly. So we got a oil cooler, we got a radiator, we got a I don't know what else, we got a bunch of Mishimoto stuff. I don't even know what's what. So anyway, oh, and let me show you guys the shifter real quick. And then we got this X shift actual shifter, so it's badass. You know, you pull this thing and then you can just gear up, gear down. As you guys can see, it's not an H pattern, so you're either shifting up or shifting down, but it's badass. You get super crisp, quick shift. So super excited about this project, guys. Yeah, shout out to Ron. Thank you for trusting me with your project. Very happy to be a part of it. I can't wait to see what this thing does. I mean, this thing is gonna do rally, it's gonna do Gymkhana grid, and all sorts of activities. He might be doing all-wheel drive burnouts for all I know. So anyway, we'll continue with the fuel system and I'll get back to you guys in a minute. All right, guys, so pretty sure this is an East Coast car. The nuts for the hanger have been soaking for a while. Two of them were kind of a pain in the ass, so I didn't want to strip them, so I just let them sit for like an hour. So yeah, gonna get this out, then modify the wiring, and then I'll show you guys what happens, you know, how it looks like. I'm gonna mount the relay somewhere here, most likely, because I can just use a trigger wire from the front of the car where the Haltech mounts all the way down here, and that's probably gonna be the best way to go on about it. Just wish you guys could smell how filthy this thing smells. This has probably been sitting for, I don't know, 3-4 years now. The fuel obviously smells very bad when it goes, you know, when it's been sitting for a while. The filter sock was partially on, but completely disintegrated when I took it off. Of course, there's some corrosion over here, but that's not really a concern. And the actual lines for the siphon are literally falling apart. So that's got to be replaced. Other than that, I mean, it seems like they installed a 450 in here. No, it's actually a 255. It doesn't have the bigger bottom, but it's of course all corroded, crystallized. It's pretty bad. And then the top hat is literally chipping away, so I can like pick at it with my fingernail and it'll come off. So this is an East Coast car. Underneath the car is the same. It's not as bad as some stuff I've seen, but it's pretty damn bad. So hoping when Tony's taking off the subframe bolts, they don't snap completely off, or they don't just kind of spin on the stud that holds them on the front of the Evo. I'll show you guys what I mean when I lift up the car. Anyway, so clearly a big upgrade for Ron, but he needed this, so see you guys in a minute. All right guys, so it is Monday. Happy New Year's to everybody. I'm picking up a couple days after the last video that we did, which was the fuel pump being dropped in. Well, it's not even dropped in yet, so we kind of stopped working on Ron's car. Now everything's in. We had to make a custom mount insert essentially for the transmission side for this X-shift transmission. They kind of don't give you anything to use, so what I have in there, I can show you guys from the top too, because I'll bring this down, but that's a diff bushing from an Evo 8.9, grinded down just enough so it has tension to be held in the actual mount, and then I'm using two essentially tool steel inserts cut to length so I can mount it and, you know, not have, when we tighten it, not have the actual chassis or the mount holes essentially just like crush in on itself. So that worked out, which I'm happy about. The AC is not going to clear. Ron doesn't care about that, so we're gonna take this off. This thing's not gonna run AC. It's also an RS, so it doesn't have ABS. Nice little weight reduction. Up next is gonna be, of course, mounting the transfer case, making sure that this seal over here is not missing. I have these on stock. This seal keeps the transmission and transfer case fluid from mixing. Also, this bolt, for some reason, some people, you know, forget to put this bolt back in or just think it's unnecessary. So they do weight reduction sometimes. Don't forget to put this bolt in. I have brand new bolts from the factory that we use on all the builds that we do. We rather just, you know, throw a new bolt on there. Of course, the clutch cover over here, gotta make sure that goes on so nothing goes in there and, you know, gets up in the disc or messes with anything. So we did end up using the Clutch Masters 850 series that Ron brought to us. This uses a hydraulic throwout bearing, so super nice. You can actually install a hydraulic pressure sensor in line and, you know, do a bunch of things with that, but he's not gonna need that. It's just awesome that, I don't know, I like the hydraulic style throwout bearings. And yeah, so up next is gonna be his, I believe it's a TRE built T-case. It is an ACD unit, so we're gonna throw that in there, and then I'm gonna do some extensions on the actual injector wiring up top so we can have like a mini wire tuck. And then our battery relocation from DI Fab arrived today, so we're gonna install that, and the battery is gonna be installed in the back. So as of right now, this is yeah, we gotta finish up the fuel system. We already mounted the radium inline filter. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna install the T-case. I'm gonna, you know, put the subframe back on, bring this down, do the fuel system, start wiring everything up, and go from there. So we do need to fab up some dump tubes for the wastegates, but as far as for the car to start and stuff, we don't really need to worry about. Another thing is he got a Mishimoto front mount, which is not going to work with our setup with our top upper intercooler piping, which is a 3-inch, and the lower intercooler piping is, excuse me, is also not going to work with the setup. So intercooler is going to change. So there's a bunch of changes that are going to happen, but as of right now, we're at this point. Like I said, T-case, subframe back, start throwing the axles and everything on there, and then just start, you know, putting all the wiring back on the vehicle. So, yeah. So this is an unexpected way to end the video. Just wanted to take a minute and explain what's going on to you guys. I had a guy that was helping me with essentially editing all the videos, because before I used to just use Shotcut, and I would just put the videos together with no effects, no, you know, background music, and it works, but, you know, I like to give you guys a little bit more of a quality content. I would like to think I do so with the actual content that I provide, but, you know, I want the videos to be pretty good as well. So today is Sunday, and, you know, I'm editing this video, and I will plug this in, and this video will be uploaded today. So I just wanted to thank all of you guys for, you know, sticking with me and being patient. And you know, I know I'm not the fastest content uploader. I don't upload every day, but I'm sure you guys understand, you know, being essentially a one-man team and working the hours that I work, and, you know, that combined with the home life gets pretty hard to try to upload videos every day. So I'm essentially, again, I'm gonna try my best, as I, you know, always try to. but I do promise to bring you guys more content, especially this coming week. I want to have at least 2 videos posted of different things, so it doesn't have to be about Ron's car. It can be about like shop stuff as well. Anyway, so let me just tell you guys what's going on and what you guys are gonna see next. This car is essentially ready to go as far as you know, the engine stuff goes. We do have to bolt on the throttle body. He's getting one of our 3-inch upper intercooler pipings. He did have a Mishimoto front mount and Mishimoto piping. I do not like those. The intercooler itself, the outlets are kind of weird, so you can't use them with any other aftermarket intercooler piping. So you know, we're gonna go ahead and get either an STM or an ETS unit, most likely an ETS unit. Same thing with the lower piping. Probably gonna get a 2.5-inch STM piping, and then you know, just have a reducer from the turbo to the piping. We do have to fab up some dump tubes. I'm not the best fabricator, but that's another thing I'm trying to add on to my skill set. I have been welding aluminum a little bit, but I haven't been posting about it because, you know, I can't post weld porn. But, you know, enough so I can get by. For instance, I welded a elbow on a turbo the other day for a client's car. It's a big power build too, so welds are either gonna break or they're not. So I guess we'll see on the dyno. That's gonna be a whole different video. That's gonna be Mike's car. He's probably gonna make over 1,000 on my dyno, which is gonna be awesome. It's an Evo 10. But anyway, so I'm gonna have to fab up some dump tubes for Ron because Full Race, for some reason, they did not send the dump tubes for his 2-inch scroll setup. And they don't have the fixtures anymore. So I was promised that I was gonna get some you know, tubing to fab him up, but I didn't get anything. But I have a bunch at the shop left over from, you know, whenever we were doing our turbo kits, so that's not going to be a problem. I'm just gonna have to take matters into my own hands, and essentially, you know, just installing everything else on the car, which you guys are gonna get to see. You guys are gonna get to see the fuel pump all wired up, everything wired into the Haltech. I'm gonna try to make it as technical as possible. This video was just essentially a trial to see if I can actually edit my own damn videos and, you know, how it would be. So I really want you guys' feedback. Please let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Yeah, stay tuned for more, because I got a whole lot of stuff coming up for you guys, especially content with the actual shop drag car. You guys are gonna be stoked to see how that thing turned out and what we're doing to it. And I have a full plethora of parts that are gonna go on the car. Dry sump kits, subframes, all that stuff's gonna be documented, so you guys can see step by step how we're gonna get that car into the 8s. And yes, we are gonna get that car into the 8s, but we gotta go 9s first. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, comment. I engage with everybody in the comments, and hit that bell notification so you guys can see this video and new videos every time it comes out, and you can share it with your friends and help a brother out. Appreciate you guys a lot. See you guys in the next